What's up, guys? This is a very unscripted video. This is just a way for me to try to process this. Ace Frehley passed away. Man, this one's really tough. I guess I'll start with how I was first introduced to Kiss, Ace Frehley. A lot of you that follow my channel know how big of a Kiss fan I am. I often talk about them in my live streams. They've been a major part of my life pretty much since I was like 8 years old, when I was sitting in elementary school and the teacher wheeled in one of those big cart TVs and she played, for some reason, Kiss in concert. I don't know why. I wish I could remember the context of that other than it being in school, but yeah. And that was the first time I saw Kiss in makeup. You know, this was the early 80s, and immediately I was just like, oh my God, I want to know more about that band. They are amazing. And who is this guitar god that is the coolest looking guy in the band? There's an argument to be made that the Demon, Gene Simmons, looked pretty damn cool as well, but Ace Frehley just had a devil-may-care type attitude to his playing. They called him the Spaceman because he definitely seemed like he was in a different world, like he was on another planet. Jindal, I guess is what he would call it. But yeah, and then, you know, I've been a Kiss fan ever since. I'm almost obsessed with Kiss. In every stage, I love 80s Kiss. Sometimes I even tell people I think I like 80s Kiss more than 70s Kiss, and Ace really wasn't in 80s Kiss. But, you know, it all starts with that makeup era. And I think I grew to appreciate the makeup era, especially in 96, when they got back together, all four original members put back on the makeup. And that's when I realized how big Kiss in makeup was. And that kind of forced me to go back and re-examine the Kiss catalog from the makeup years. And I'm glad I did that because, you know, what you hear on the radio, what you might, even like from friends that are casual Kiss fans, they only scratch the surface as to how great their catalog is from the makeup era, the songs that you don't hear. And that's for another video. This is about Ace Frehley. But man, I'm just shook right now. I cannot believe Ace Frehley is gone. He had an accident from what I've seen. He had a fall. I don't know if he hit his head, but I know that he had his, what do you call it? His brain was bleeding. And my wife's a nurse, and I was asking her about that. And, you know, is that something that you could survive? And she said if it's on the outside of the brain, yes, it's possible. But it depends on how much of the brain, how deep it is. And it wasn't looking good. I heard about Ace, you know, saying that he was on life support around, you know, this afternoon sometime. And I posted something on X about, I just hope he makes it. And then shortly after, we found out that he passed. I think Rolling Stone was the first news organization that I saw post about it. And man, it hit me. And, you know, funny enough, me and my wife were going to see a comedy tonight, the new Keanu Reeves movie. I can't even think of the name. I just got out of it, and I'm still so out of it that I can't even remember the name of the movie I just watched. All I can think about is Ace Frehley. Even when I was sitting in the movie, all I could think about was Ace Frehley. And he just really had an effect on me. You know, they were my heroes, and all four of those members of that band are all equally important, you know, of the makeup era. Yes, they've had more members in the band, but I'm talking about just the original four. And you could say that Ace is kind of the heart and soul of Kiss. Yeah, he didn't write most of the songs, but his solo album sold more copies than any other member in the band, and I think there's a reason for that. I think he was the heart and soul of the band. Him and Peter were the rock and roll, I guess, members of the band, and they often annoyed the hell out of Paul and Gene. But I think that those four members, that recipe made up the greatness. You know, I think you had to have all 4 of those members. I mean, hell, Paul and Gene are quite different. So, yeah, Ace Frehley. The first time I really got into Ace Frehley, honestly, was after he left Kiss. And I really got into those solo albums that he did with Frehley's Comet, and then Second Sighting, and then Trouble Walking. Those 3 albums especially, I was really, really into. And if the copyright claims let me, you're going to hear under this Fractured 3, I think, from Trouble Walking. If you want to hear the soul of Ace Frehley, listen to those Fractured songs. There's 4 of them. Fractured Mirror is off of the first solo album when Kiss took a break and they did the solo albums. And then he had Fractured 2, I think it's called The Acorn is Spinning or something like that. But yeah, there were 4 different Fractures. My favorite of that suite is Fractured 3, which is probably what you're hearing in the background here. If you're not, then that's because YouTube wouldn't let me. But it's just brutal. It sucks so bad that Ace Frehley's gone. Funny enough, I just bought this shirt like maybe a month or 2 ago, just because and that's the only Kiss shirt I wanted. I wanted an Ace Frehley shirt, just because he's just the coolest member of the band. He's the devil may care of the band. And Ace always did it his way. He never really copied anybody else. He was a guitar god. I think every guitarist is influenced by the guitarists that come before them, but the greats, they create their own sound and their own influence. And I would say probably most rock guitarists that came after Ace Frehley will gladly tell you that he was a major influence, and not just in classic rock, not just in like 80s rock, but all the way up to like grunge music. Tom Morello was a massive Ace Frehley fan. Tool, Adam Jones was a massive Ace Frehley fan. Maynard Keenan had like pictures of Ace on his wall growing up, and he was a big influence on me. I'm a drummer. I'm not even a guitarist, but his sound on the guitar was so distinct that I don't know. It almost sounded like his guitar sound was a character in and of itself within all of the songs. And after Ace left, his guitar sound left. And I guess personally, who Ace Frehley was, I guess as a person, if you go back and look at some of the interviews, he was kind of the funny guy in the group. Sometimes because of alcohol and drugs, but one of the interviews they do, he is just driving Paul and Gene crazy, just with his cackling laugh. He had this unique laugh, and just a unique way of talking. His singing voice was unique, and this is going to take me a long time to process. I know it's my wife was telling me, she was like, wow, you seem really shaken up by this. And I was like, yeah, I'm a musician, and Kiss was such a major part of my life. And Ace Frehley was such a major part of my life. And I wasn't ready for this. I didn't, because, there was no like health scares on his part or anything like that. This was just sort of abrupt, at least as far as I know. Over the last, couple of weeks, I think he had the accident. And then, funny enough, we see something about Gene Simmons having a car accident. So we had like 2 scares for 2 members of Kiss, but I never expected Ace Frehley to die. The last thing I ever expected was him to pass on. But I always knew that one day, those 4 original members, one of them's going to pass. Didn't know who was going to pass, but my heart goes out to Ace's family. goes out to the members of KISS. I'm sure they're feeling this right now. I haven't looked online in the past few hours, but I don't know if they've put out a statement or anything like that. But you know, Paul and Gene have this statement. Yeah, we had our issues, but once you're a member of KISS, that's family, and you're always a part of the family. So I'm sure that that Paul and Gene are feeling it right now. I can't imagine it not. Despite all the bad blood and the drama, that was part of what made KISS what they were, was the drama. You know, just because those 4 members were all just very different. And Ace was a character. He was a major character. And yeah, I don't want to ramble on. I'm sure that there's probably 5 different things I wanted to say that I haven't said yet. But I guess I'll just stop it right here. Yeah, I guess just let me know what you guys, you know, maybe your KISS memories in the comments. You know, I see a lot of people that don't like KISS. You know, KISS is a very niche type of band, and they're very divisive, polarizing even. And there's some people, they hate KISS. I'm on the opposite side of that. KISS is one of the most important bands in my life, and they are easily, you know, in my like top 2, I would say. Because if you know me, you know Tool's always been my favorite band, but wow, this might actually hit me harder than if somebody in Tool passed on. I don't know. I didn't expect how hard this would hit me. So, Ace Frehley, man, thank you for all the great music that you have given us. I miss you terribly. I miss you, Ace Frehley. Thank you.